Hello guys, today we're going to be discussing quadratic equation and expression. Now look at there's a right way to pronounce it, quadratic equation and expression. Now in our previous lesson we started a very good job on algebra. We discussed what algebra is and we also discussed the different types of algebra. We discussed the fact that we have what we call the basic algebra or the elementary algebra, the advanced algebra, the linear algebra, then the abstract algebra and the commutative algebra. Now, under the basic algebra, we did a whole lot of work on that. We worked on addition and subtraction of algebra, and from there, we moved on to what we call the advanced algebra. And under the advanced algebra, we discussed the fact that we have different kinds of algebra under the advanced algebra. We mentioned what we call the linear equation or expression. We mentioned what we call the quadratic equation, which is the second order equation that we're about to discuss right now. We discussed the trinomial, the polynomial, initial, simultaneous, and so on. But in today's lesson, we're going to be mainly focused on quadratic equation. So what's a quadratic equation? A quadratic equation or expression, whichever way you want to call it, is simply what we call the second order equation. Now, when we talk about second order equation, it's a kind of equation that has the highest unknown or power to the plus 2. So let's see that. Quadratic equation, anything quadratic, either equation or expression, don't forget the fact that the difference between an equation and expression is simply the presence of equality sign. Equation has an equals to, expression does not have an equals to. So quadratic equation and expression is a second order, it's a second order equation, it's a second order equation. So quadratic equation is simply a second order equation. Now we talk about a second order equation, we're talking about an equation that has the highest power to the positive 2. So for a quadratic equation, the highest power we have is plus 2. So in our previous lesson, we discussed the fact that we have something like this under quadratic equation: ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So the highest unknown that we have is positive 2. It's very important for you to note that. It's not just any kind of unknown. It's not minus 2. It has to be positive 2. So this is the first thing we have to note under quadratic equation. Okay, having known what quadratic equation is, now we're going to be dashing directly to the different methods or ways we can use to solve quadratic equation. So there are about 5 major methods that can really be deployed to solve quadratic equation. So yeah, the methods. Now the first we have is what we call the factorization method. We call this the factorization method. Sometimes just call it factorize. The next method we have is what we call the completing the square method. Completing the square method. The next we have is what we call the formula method. Now people like to call this almighty formula. It's called the formula method. So the next method we have is what we call, I call it try and error method. And the last method we have is what we call the graphical method. Now, there are other kinds of methods that we have, but this method are the major methods that we have when it comes to solving quadratic equation. So today we're going to be starting with the factorization method. I beg your pardon. Factorization. Now, this very method involves factorizing a given quadratic equation. So before we can go into this, first of all, we have to derive what we can call, a formula, a kind of formula we are going to be using to solve quadratic equation under factorization. So for us to solve this, we are going to be needing the equation. Now look at this. Every quadratic equation has what we call a root, or we can call it the source of that very equation. So let's assume that alpha and beta are the roots of an equation, a quadratic equation. So if alpha and beta are the roots of a given quadratic equation, so how do we factorize such an equation? So if these two are the roots of a given quadratic equation, So we can say x minus alpha equal to 0 and x minus beta equals to 0. These were the things we had that resulted to alpha and beta as the root of the equation. So when we bring this together, we're going to multiply under the basic algebra, we're going to expand. So that will be x minus alpha, x minus beta. So what do we have? We use this to multiply all this, and this multiplies all this. Normal form of expansion. So x times x is x squared, x times beta is minus beta x, minus alpha times x is minus alpha x, minus alpha times minus beta, minus is plus, alpha times beta is alpha beta. So what do we have? S squared, x and x is common, you just bring out one of them, that's minus x, minus is plus, s divides x here, we have beta left. The same thing goes for this, minus is plus, x divides this, we have alpha plus alpha beta. Now what do we have next? This is x squared minus x. Now don't forget that alpha and beta are the roots of the equation. So we call this summation, sum of roots, and then product of roots. The sum of roots and the product of roots. So we're going to get a formula, that will be x squared minus sum x plus product of the roots. So this is the official formula we're going to be using to solve quadratic equation using factorization method. It's time to look at some worked examples. So right here, we have the first question as this: factorize minus 6x to minus 1 plus 5 equals to x. Solve for x also. Now we're asked to solve for x. There's no way we can solve for x if this is not an equation. Don't forget that we're talking about quadratic. Now quadratic is a second order, equation. It could be an equation, it could be an expression. So when we talk about quadratic, we're talking about second order. Linear equation is first order, the second order. So for us to be asked this very question, we ask to solve for x. It means we are dealing with an equation. If it's not an equation, there's no way we can solve for x. So don't forget that when we talk about quadratic, we're talking about the highest power would be plus 2. So this does not look like a quadratic equation because the highest power here is, we have minus 1 here. But let's see if you can rebrand this question and let's see where we go from there. So this minus 6x to minus 1 plus 5 equals to x. So let's rebrand this. What do we have? This minus 6 times x is minus 1 plus 5 equals to x. So don't forget your laws of indices. You need a data knowledge of indices to understand this 100%. This times 1 over x, then this plus 5 equals to x. So minus 6 times 1 is minus 6 over x plus 5 over 1 equals to x over 1. So just get the LCM. x1 and 1 is x. X and x is 1. This minus 6. 1 and x is x, and 1 x times 5 is 5x. 1 divides x is x, x times x is x squared. It has become quadratic. So what do we have? We'll send this one to the other side. We'll send them over here. That's x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. This is what we're going to be working on. So we've converted this very question, we've converted it to what we can call quadratic. And this quadratic, all the fact that the highest power is plus 2. And you can see it's well written out. S is power 2, S is power 1, S is power 0. So from here we can solve. Quickly, let's solve. We're going to be using our factorization method right now. I'm going to be using our factorization method from this very point. So let's see what it looks like. So first of all, we have x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. This is a quadratic equation. How? Because we have an equality sign. If there's no equality sign, it's a quadratic expression. So now don't forget there's a formula that we just derived, x squared minus sum x plus product. So we have to focus on this two, the sum x and the product. So the sum x and the product are the two major things we have to really stay focused on. So now for the sum is right there at the middle. As you can see, there's the sum. The sum x is minus 5x. Now how do we get the product? Now don't forget that the product, the major way we can get the product is by multiplying this and this. So x squared will multiply with plus 6. So the product is s squared times plus 6. Please, you have to respect the signs. If this has a positive sign or negative sign, you have to move it with a sign and also use it to multiply what we have here. So if this is minus s squared, for example, and this is plus 6, that'll be minus s squared times plus 6. If if you suffer a kind of lapse with the signs, it means you're going to mess up everything. So you have to be very careful with the signs. So that's plus s squared times plus 6, which will give us plus 6s squared. Now we have that settled already. So the next thing, we're going to draw a table that will help us get the likely root. Don't forget, this formula is very important. S squared minus sum x plus product. So the sum x is what we have at the middle minus 5x. The product, we got the product by multiplying whatever we have here, the a, and what we have here on the c. This a, b, c. Don't forget, quadratic equation is more or less ax squared plus bx plus c. So the a is this, the b is this, that's the sum at the middle, the c is plus 6. So our sum x is minus 5x, our product is plus 6s squared. So let's draw a table. We're going to be using a table. Sum x is minus 5x, then the product is plus 6s squared. That's what we have. So now there's something I want to note, which is this: the product plays a very big role, in us getting the root of the very quadratic equation. The product has a lot of power. So now there's it. The product is positive. Now whenever the product is positive, don't forget in mathematics, whenever we have a positive result, it means two identical signs, has come together, or two identical signs came together, to give us this. So when we have a positive sign, it means that we have minus minus, or we have plus plus. That's the first thing we have to note. And whenever we have a minus, product, it means we have different signs, either minus plus or plus minus. So when we look at this product is plus, it's a positive result product. So it means the two signs that came together were identical, either minus minus or plus plus. So now the sum is going to confirm the kind of signs that came together. Now the sum is minus. So if the sum is negative, it means the two signs that came together were both negative signs. So now the question is, what are the two numbers or the two factors I'll bring together? And when I bring them, the two of them, we have both minus minus according to our analysis. When we bring them together, we're going to get minus 5. And also when we multiply them, we get plus 6. So if we try out minus 1x minus 4x, don't forget minus 1 minus 4 is minus 5x. So when we multiply them, minus and minus is plus. 1 times 4 is 4s squared. Now we got this sum, we didn't get the product. So let's try out 2. Minus 2x minus 3x minus 2 minus 3x minus 3 minus 3x is minus 5x. Minus and minus is plus. 2 times 3 is 6. S times s is s squared. So the sum is minus 5x, the product is plus 6s squared. So this is what we are looking for. We've gotten our factors. So don't forget the fact that, first of all, you have to look at the product. If the product is positive, it means you have equal signs. The product is negative, you have different signs. So whatever the product is, then we're going to confirm what it is using the sum. So now we're going to be using this. We're going to be using this in this, our equation. So what do we have? We have s squared minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. So what does that mean? It means s squared right here. S squared. Instead of me to write minus 5x, we write minus 2x minus 3x. Those two already combine to give us minus 5x. Then plus 6 here equals to 0. So what do we do? Now we're going to share them in twos. These two will come together. These two will come together. So now this is the real factorization. This is how we call it factorization method. We're going to be seeing the reason why we name this factorization. Apart from the fact that we have the formula s squared minus sum s plus product, the real reason why this is named factorization is what we're about to look at. So plus s squared minus 2x, this plus s squared, this minus 2x. So we're going to be attending to each of these pairs. So we have this and we have this. Now for the first pair, what sign do we have? What starting sign do we have? We have positive sign. That's the first. Whatever sign starts the whole thing will be written down first. So the first sign we have here is positive. You're going to write it down. Then s squared minus 2x. You're going to write out s squared, and we're going to write out minus 2x. We're going to write out 2x in the. So s squared is x times x. You're going to get the product of the prime factors. So next, the 2x is 2 times x. We're about to get the HCF, what I call the HCF, highest common factors. So what do we have? X is here, there's x here also. So we're going to pick them. X is here, there's nothing else. So we're going to write out this x here. We write it out. That's the ACF. ACF of x squared and 2x is ordinary x. So plus times plus is plus. X divided x squared is ordinary x. Plus times minus is minus. X divides 2x. What do we have? We have 2 left here. You can see that. So we're done with the first side. This factorization. We're bringing out the factor that is on both sides. So the next, what starts the next pair is minus. You're going to write our minus down. Minus starts the next pair. So 3x is equal to 3 times x. Then 6 is equal to 2 times 3. So what do I have x here? I have 3 here and I have 3 here. I pick one of them. So nothing else is common. Just have x left. So we write our 3 out. Minus is minus, give us plus. So what do we have left? By the time we bring out 3 between these two, what do we have left? We have x here left. Minus times plus is minus. What do we have left? We have 2 left. Then equals to 0. So now, how do we get to know if what we've been doing is right, if we've been on the right spot? So now one very thing that is very observable, common when it comes to factorization method is you're going to have something common. X plus x minus 2 plus x minus 2 is common. You can see they're both the same. So we can easily just bring out one of this. If nothing is common, it means you've not been doing what is right. So plus x minus 2 is common. What do we do next? Add the plus x minus 2. When I remove this and remove this, what I'm going to have left? We're going to have plus x minus 3 left equals to 0. So we have successfully factorized. So this x minus 2 and x minus 3 are these are the factorized. We factorized already. So the next question is, we are asked to solve for x. How do we solve for x? Plus x minus 2 equals to 0, or plus x minus 3 equals to 0. So send this to the other side. We send this to the other side. So x is plus 2 or plus 3. These are the roots of the equation. As simple as that. Okay, right here we have the second example. So look at, there's a question: factorize minus 15 plus 13x minus 2x squared equal to 0. We are asked to find x. Now, how do we factorize this? How do we solve it? Now, don't forget, the formula is very important. X squared minus sum x plus product. This formula is very important. You just have to take note of this. Now, x squared minus sum x plus product. So the first question you have to set is, what is the sum x? And after that, you look out for the product. But before we even start this, let's see if truly this is a quadratic equation. Let's see if it's a quadratic equation. What do we have? The highest power we have is positive 2. This is a second degree equation. So we have the highest power of positive 2. So truly it's a quadratic equation. So we can dash directly to work. So this minus 2x squared. Let's arrange this first the right way. This x is power 0, x is power 1, x is power 2. So you're going to arrange this in a descending order of magnitude. You're going to start with the one with the highest power, plus 2. So we drop down. So that's minus 2x squared plus 13x minus 15 equals to 0. Now that's what we have right here. So what do we do next? We're going to watch out for, we're going to get in the sum next. What's the sum? The sum is what we have right at the middle. The sum is the b. A, B, C. The sum is the b. So what's the sum x? The sum x is plus 13x. Please respect the sign, very important. Don't joke with the sign. Plus 13x. Then the product. What's the product? How do we get the product? We're going to take the a, everyone in the first section. We're going to use it to multiply everyone in the third section. So plus, minus 2x squared. Please be careful with the signs. Times minus 15. Minus 2x squared is minus 15. Minus is minus. You give us plus 2 times 15 is 30s squared. So what's the product? The product is plus 30s squared. The sum is what we have right at the middle. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to draw our table. We're going to look for the two major factors we're going to bring together that will give us the product and also give us the sum x. So first of all, the sum x plus 13x, then the product plus 30s squared. Now, first of all, let's look at the product. Let's look at the product. Now, the first question we're going to ask is, what kind of sign does the product have? The product has a positive sign. So for the fact that the product has a positive sign, it means two identical signs, either minus minus or plus plus, came together to give birth to this, to bring about this very quadratic equation. So if two identical signs came together, or two factors with the same sign came together, let's see what the sum has to tell us. The sum here, we have a positive sum, we have plus 13. So if the sum is positive, it means the two signs that came together both had positive signs, plus and plus. So now the question is, what are the two factors that will bring together that will give me plus 13? And when I multiply them, I will get plus 30. So let's see, I can start with plus 1x and then plus 12x, plus 1 plus 12. Don't forget the two of them, we have the same sign, positive, positive, according to our analysis. So plus 1 plus 12 is plus 13x. So when we multiply them, plus and plus is plus. 1 times 12 is 12, x times x is x squared. We didn't get the product, although we got the sum, so this is not what we are looking for. Let's try out something else. Plus 2x plus 10x, they are both positive, positive factors, positive and positive. Plus and plus is plus. 2 times 10 is 20, x times x is x squared. We are not far away from it, we're close, but we've not gotten the product yet. I can't still use this. So next, let's try out plus 3 plus this plus 2. I made a mistake here. That's plus 2 plus 11 plus 2 plus 11 is plus 13, and we multiply that to get plus 22 s squared. So next, let's try out plus 3 plus 10 plus 3 plus 10x plus times plus s plus 3 times 10 is 30, 30 s squared. So this is what we're looking for. We have the product already and we have a sum. So we've gotten what we are looking for. As easy as that. So the next, I'm going to come back to the very equation, minus 2s squared plus 13x minus 15. So I'm going to write it down. You're going to write it down now. This minus 2s squared plus 13x. Sorry, you're going to write plus 13x. So about writing plus 13x, you're going to write this. We have factors representing 13x already. So that's plus 3x plus 10x minus 15 equal to 0. So right now we're going to share this out in pairs. We have this and we have this. This is the real factorization, bringing out factors that are on both sides. So what do we have here? Minus 2x squared plus 3x. We're going to write it down somewhere and get it done. So this 2x squared, 2x squared is 3 times x. Then 3x is 3 times x. So don't forget, it's a said that the sign that starts the whole stuff. This very first pair, what sign starts it? What do we have? What's the starting sign? We have minus. I'm going to write a minus sign down. So since this minus we have, so let's see what is common. We're going to get the HCF, highest common factors. So 2 is here, there's no 2 here, we can use that. X is here, there's X here. We take one of them, X is here, there's no other stuff. So we just have ordinary X, write it out, X. So minus times minus will give us plus. So what do we have left? 2 times x is 2x. We have 2x left. Minus times plus is minus. What do we have left? Just 3 left. We're done with that. So next, what sign starts this next pair? We have addition sign. We write it down. Plus. So write out your 10x. 10x is 2 times 5 times x. Then 15 is 3 times 5. Just get your product of prime factors. So we have 2 here. Is that 2 here? Nothing. We have 5. Is that 5 here? We have x here, then x here. That's nothing like that. So we have 5. 5 is common. I write out 5 here. Plus and plus is plus. What is left? 2x. Plus is minus. What is left? Ordinary 3 equal to 0. So we're almost done. So the next thing you're going to ask yourself is, do we have anything common on both sides? We have plus 2x minus 3 plus 2x minus 3. So those two are common. We're going to bring out one of them. So we'll bring out this 2x minus 3. So what do we have left? Minus x plus 5. This minus x plus 5. Or we can say 2x minus 3 plus 5 minus x. So this is how to factorize. As simple as that. Don't forget this. It's an equation. It's an equals to there. So we are done with that. So the next thing we're going to do now is to get the values of x, which are what we call out the root of the very equation. So let's get the values of x. Let's get the values of x. Very important. So what are the values of x? Don't forget 2x minus 3 equals to 0, or minus x plus 5 equals to 0. So when we say this to the other side, now the 2x equals to 3 divided both sides by 2. X is 3 over 2. So this, just send it to the other side here. X is just 5. So what are the roots of the equation? X is 5 or 3 over 2, which is equal to 1.5. As simple as ABC. Okay guys, here's a third and final example for today. Now we're asked to factorize 2022 x squared plus 2023x plus 1 equals to 0. Also we're asked to get the value of x. This very question was given to some students in American Olympiad mathematics. So it's very simple. Now we could use our x squared minus sum x product together. You can see the sum x, and also you can get a product. That very method will work, but there's a creative method or approach you can use to get this done. So first of all, let's write out this 2022 x squared plus, now if you take a closer look at this, 2023, we can assume this to be 2022 plus 1. Try to make it the same with this. Then multiply with x plus 1 equals to 0. So what do we do next? This 2022 x squared. We open up the bracket plus 2022 x plus x, that's x plus 1 is x, just open up the bracket, plus 1 equals to 0. It's simple. We've got what we want already. Now instead of going through the rigor of getting the sum x, getting the product, drawing a table, you're trying to get factors, that will work. It's just a very simple way to go about it. Just leave your wheat. This Olympiad mathematics question, you just need to be smart. So what's next? You bring these two together. You bring these two together. So right here we have plus. Then don't forget, what do we do next? 2022x squared and 2022x. Positive sign starts the very pair. So you're going to write it down, plus. So 2022x squared is 2022 times x and x. I don't really have a time to break this out. So what do I have there? 2022x is 2022 times x. What is common? This and this. So I'm going to write it down. 2022x plus and plus is plus. What do I have left? I have x left. Plus and plus is plus. What do we have left? Nothing, but we can call it 1 times 1 left. So we're done with that pair. So we're looking at the second pair. So what starts with positive sign starts the second pair also. Write the positive sign down. Whatever starts a given pair, whatever sign that starts a given pair will be written down. So this x is 1. 1 is 1 times 1. So 1 is common. So plus 1. Plus and plus is plus. What is left? X. Plus and plus is plus. What is left? 1. So what do we have next? Plus f plus 1 plus f plus 1, they're both common. So write out one of them. Plus f plus 1. And 2022x. And you bring out those two. You have 2022x plus 1 left. Equals to 0. So we factorize already as easy as ABC. So what do we do next? We're going to get the values of x plus 1 equals to 0. Or 2022x plus 1 equals 0. Send this to the other side. X is minus 1. Send this to the other side. 2022x equals to minus 1. Divide both sides by 2022. So x is minus 1 over 2022. So what are the values of x? X is minus 1 or minus 1 over 2022. As easy as ABC. Okay guys, after looking at the three worked examples, it's high time we got ourselves tested to see how much we got from today's lesson. So right here we have three major questions to test us with. We have factorize minus 10x squared minus 3 plus 11x equals to 0. We asked to get the value of x also. So the next question, we asked to factorize 6 minus 5x is minus 2 equals to 13x is minus 1. And we also asked to get the value of x. So the next, we also asked to factorize 2016 x squared plus 2018 x plus 2 equals to 0. We also have to get the value of x. So those questions are very simple. They're easy considering what we've done today. So at this very point in time, we're drawing the conclusion of today's lesson. If you found this lesson resourceful, please subscribe to this very channel at Edu Mosaic, and also follow me on Facebook at Revelation Hub. And please share this exposition or lesson with others. See you in the next lesson. Thanks.